Move over CNN. Whoopi Goldberg has some things to say about the vice president, and it's just as insightful and reasonable as the rest of the commentary that we've come to expect from The View. Goldberg joined her other, equally unbiased co-hosts to talk about the Olympic Games in South Korea this month, and as always seems to happen, the discussion quickly migrated to politics. The nations of the world are gathered to see who's the best and who will be going home and trying harder for the next 4 years. The unexpected twist in this year's Winter Games was the fact that North Korea and South Korea have united their athletes to compete together. This is unexpected for a couple of reasons, but the most prevalent is the fact that North Korea has been threatening to blow everyone off the map for the past year. Because of the tyrannical dictator's aggressive declarations of war, he's not well loved by some, including the vice president. Few people are as aware of the implications of what Kim Jong-un, the North Korean dictator, could do if he decided to make good on his promises. Because of that knowledge, Vice President Mike Pence decided that he didn't want to respect that country, or its athletes at the Olympics. The bleeding heart liberals obviously had a problem with that. Newsbusters reports that more than one of them piled on, with Whoopi, of course, being the loudest. Monday on ABC's The View, Liberal co-host Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar called Vice President Mike Pence a hypocrite for sitting down while North Korean athletes marched into the stadium at the Olympic Games this weekend. Whoopi complained that Pence didn't not show North Korea their due respect, while Hostin compared Pence's actions to the NFL anthem protests. After explaining what Pence did, co-host Sunny Hostin sneered that Pence was being a hypocrite, since he famously walked out of a football game last year after NFL players kneeled during the national anthem. "I thought that Mike Pence said that it was inappropriate to make political statements at sporting events," Hostin said sarcastically. "Wasn't he that guy who walked out of the football game because people were kneeling and not standing?" she added, condescendingly. Playing devil's advocate, Behar claimed Pence would say this was different because it wasn't in the United States. In their own country is what he would say to that, Behar offered. But he's representing the United States of America isn't he, Hostin snarked. This argument was so flimsy, even Joy Behar couldn't stomach letting it go by. A person not standing for their own national anthem, and not standing for the athletes of another country, is in no way the same thing. Let's just imagine, for a moment, that your neighbor constantly slips threats under your door. You don't want to be violent toward them, but you also don't want to. If that person comes to the door and knocks this time, would you feel obligated to invite them in to have a seat and offer refreshments, as social norms would typically require? No, because when someone threatens to you, they forfeit all rights to the niceties provided to those who don't threaten to other people. Whoopi took Hostin's approach one step further, saying that the US had to be respectful to North Korea. "We have to be respectful because what we do know about politicians is they end up sitting with people that you and I say, well, why are they sitting with them? So if you're in Korea, you need to stand up. You need to stand up and show respect," she argued. After the table briefly talked about how both Koreas joined together to march under the unification flag, Whoopi charged the VP for not recognizing that action as a good thing, again urging the US to respect the totalitarian regime. "He should have had enough respect to say, you know what, maybe they're doing a good thing for themselves and maybe we can sit down with them at some point, but you can't have it both ways," Whoopi claimed. Whoopi and her co-hosts probably are under the impression that their liberal soft approach to everyone other than conservatives is still the law of the land. They've decided to lean so far away from President Trump that they've gotten completely out of touch with reality. Unfortunately for them and fortunately for everybody else, the world is starting to see through this lunacy and realize what's happening. The Hill reports that there is quite a bit of outrage at the way the nations of the world have decided to act like everything is just peachy with North Korea, when just weeks ago we were literally fearing for the lives of our friends and families because we thought North Korea had nuked them. Social media users lashed out at CNN on Saturday after the network published a story declaring that Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, is stealing the show at the Winter Olympics. The article centers on North Korea's surprise decision to send Kim Yo-jong as part of its delegation to the Games in Pyeongchang, South Korea, and the diplomatic dance SHES performed at the Olympics thus far. But critics on Twitter took issue with CNN's story, accusing the network of glossing over North Korea and the Kim family's brutal human rights record and whitewashing the government's atrocities. Jeffrey Blefar, an analyst for election data startup Decision Desk HQ, jabbed the network for the story, saying that, if he worked at CNN, he would have sooner quit than write the article. "If I were working for CNN, I would honestly resign before writing this piece," he tweeted. "Beyond a certain point, no job is worth sacrificing your dignity or whitewashing true evil like this." Blefar wasn't the only one to raise the whitewashing criticism of CNN. Alyssa Farah, a spokeswoman for Vice President Pence, who is leading the U.S. delegation to the Olympics, also accused the article of appearing to blot out the North Korean government's record. In a tweet, she referenced the of Otto Warmbier, an American college student who died last year after being held prisoner for more than a year and a half in North Korea. Speaking of stealing, Otto Warmbier was tortured at the hands of the Kim regime after being accused of stealing a poster, she wrote, referencing the CNN story's headline. "Let's not whitewash North Korea's record. It's all fun and games until we remember that these people we're trying to make nice with would rather be feeding us to the dogs. We've come to the point in our history where political correctness might actually get us ahead. It's time to let it go, people." Follow us on Facebook, HT Newsbusters, The Hill, for the web powered by Zergnet. Olympic figure skater handles wardrobe malfunction perfectly. Here's who Jackie Kennedy thought had her husband killed. The victims of the Florida school shooting revealed the real reason. Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux split. Deputies called to FL shooter's home 39 times in 7 years. Donald Trump's bizarre hairdo finally explained.